everybody, and welcome to Hairy Man Hoaxes and Hoodwinks. We're here again to rock it. Another good show for you. Worked really hard on this one, and it was exhausting. Too much information. So, we're going to get going here. I'm going to go ahead and bring my guests on real quick, and we have the Reverend Jeff Kelly, Esquire.
That's right.
From Swatchers Lounge Podcast. Welcome.
Thank you, everybody. Glad to be here.
And my friend Brent, the tall ones. Welcome.
What's up?
Welcome. It's been a
fancy meeting you guys here.
Fancy, yeah.
Fancy.
So, how'd your guys' week go?
Fantastic.
I just got over the having walking pneumonia, so I'm glad to be feeling better from that. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
No, anything with the lungs, bad news. Bad news.
Apparently, there's like a what do they call it? An antibiotic shortage or something going on, where people are having like a horrible time getting antibiotics. But I didn't have no problem with it, so thank God for my doctor.
I've been having a hard time getting saltine crackers. It's like a huge shortage.
Dude, tell me about it, bro. That is crazy. How
it's like
go to this,
yep.
It's the stupidest stuff. Is like not like clam juice. Clam juice has somehow become like a commodity that you got to call a stockbroker to get. It's like, what the hell?
I just want some saltine crackers, man.
Yeah, what?
Shit, man.
Crazy.
What else? Brother up.
Couldn't get no cheese. I was trying to make a nacho plate yesterday. Couldn't get no cheese. I mean, it's just crazy.
I actually have a box of saltine crackers. I'm thinking about putting it on sale, for like $40 or something.
Like put it
You're
in
like,
little,
hey guys,
get yourself some of those drug bags. Get yourself some dime bags and put like 2 crackers in each one, and then like sell them on Etsy for like
my God,
$1.50 each.
That's a good idea.
That's bad. That's so bad.
They got the good salt, guys.
That's right. And they got, that kosher salt, good for everybody.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I might have to try that if the shortage keeps up,
Well,
the
minute we heard that El Paso was going to get snow, the same thing happened here. There was all the tortilla shops were empty. All the bakeries were empty. All the, what El Paso's consider the important stuff. It was empty. And we got like a little inch, not even an inch, and it lasted like 2 hours, and they canceled school for that stuff.
Well,
wow.
I was talking to my kid the other day. Now he's 18 years old, and we were separated for a long period of time. I told him literally, I can't believe that they cancel school the way they do now. When I was a kid, like we would walk to school in 6 inches of snow, and it was still snowing. The buses didn't run, so now you get to walk to school because mom and dad have already gone to work. He's like, oh, I bet you it was uphill both ways. I said, you know what, you little bastard? It actually was.
It was, man.
On one hill, we had to walk down the hill, through the valley, and up the other hill to get to the school. And then at the end of the day, we had to walk down that hill, across the valley, and back up the hill home. So you're damn right it was uphill both ways in the snow, yellow.
With a hole in your shoe, too.
No. I was a little fat kid. I can't put my arms down.
Don't fall over.
Yeah, no, I literally had 46 cousins growing up that were all older than me. So snowsuits and scarves and mittens and hats were just abundant until I was like 23 and moved to the South and didn't need them anymore. It was just
they have it easy. They're kids these days. I mean, because I got the alert on my phone the day before they were canceling. Due to weather coming in, we're canceling. I'm like, what? The snow hasn't even come yet. And they canceled. So I go, okay.
I got an idea. Let's buy some snow tires for the buses. Let's buy some winter tires for the buses and put those on, sometime right about October 20th. And then they can drive in the damn snow. I mean, the damn thing weighs 9,000 tons. Or 9,000 pounds.
Well, I think nowadays it's a lot easier because they could do remote schooling. Like my kids are all set up through a program on school where that's where all their work is cycled through. So you can actually keep up to date on what's due, what's not due. And you do need to go in person for like a teaching assignments and all that different stuff. But a lot of times they just put a YouTube video on and have the kids watch that. And Seriously, that's
no different
what they
than
do.
what it was when I was in school. I mean, you know, when the AV cart was in the room, boy, you knew the teacher didn't give a shit that day. half the time they would fall asleep quarter way through class, and I would just sneak out the back and go out and sit out behind the bleachers and smoke a doobie.
Well, I remember still having to get up and get ready, and I would park myself in front of the TV for that 6 o'clock morning news.
Just to make
see
sure
the little ticker going
you're hoping.
across.
You're hoping.
Yeah, I remember that day.
See my school name on there.
I remember those days. Those were so much fun. It was like the lotto, you know. It's like, are they going to call my name? Are they going to call? Are they going? They called it. Yes.
I lived in Pennsylvania as a little kid, outside of Pittsburgh by about an hour in the mountains. So we got a lot of snow there. But then we moved to like outside of DC in Maryland in District Heights, and it barely ever snowed there. I mean, if it snowed a couple of inches, and then the next day it was slush, and then the day after that it was gone. You know, and then we moved to Florida, and well, shit, you know.
No worries there.
Fair warning, don't move to Florida. You can't afford to move out. It's a tourist-based industry driven state, and it looks attractive, but trust me, you get stuck there. You get down there, you can't make enough money to save. Yeah, you can't even make enough money to save up and get out. I mean, it's a beautiful place to visit. You know, go to the beach, hang out. Daytona's a great place if you can stand the crack addicts that are all over the place. But, you know, I remember as a kid, Daytona Beach was the most famous beach in the world. Now it's in Dubai. Okay, that's how crappy America has actually become in the 40 years since Daytona Beach used to be the premier beach destination that everybody wanted to go to. Now it's a crap popsicle. I mean, it's just something nobody wants, and it's that horrible, and the laws are so horrible. Anyhow, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Harry.
Yeah, it's Bigfoot. It's Bigfoot today.
Bigfoot.
Hello,
you know, y'all got to keep me
chat.
on track, because I will derail shit like a train wreck.
All right.
I ignored you just for a little bit. No, I know you're there. So who do we got here today real quick? We got Jimmy Blanton. Hello, Mr. Blanton. My condolences to you, sir. Hi, Donald Fuller and Sandra Piper. Lovely to see you. Cindy Finn. Deb the Web, welcome. Theo Bones, welcome to the show.
What's up?
Who do we got? Donald. I said Donald. Cindy. Oh gosh, I'm way behind. Mr. Lockbeard, welcome, sir. Outcast.
All these fans are going to get tired of seeing me.
Nah, man. Your fan favorite.
I was just on with Joe on Friday.
That was a good show.
Scotty, welcome, Scotty, my Aussie friend, and Angel and Rod Dupree, welcome.
He's always in the place to be.
Oh, Judy, welcome, Judy. Chessboard, nice to see you guys. Okay, so today we got
Gary
a great
Johnson.
lineup
I think you skipped Gary Johnson.
Yeah, you skipped me too.
Sorry. I probably skipped. I always skip Brent, but
Angel Nolan.
Come on.
What if it's all true with Jim Blayton?
I've
been talking to you all morning.
True.
So okay, no, I don't mean to miss anybody. You guys know I love y'all,
dwarf.
and I appreciate you for being here and supporting me, and my little channel. Let's make it a big channel. Tell your friends.
I'm down.
Get there. Just keep plugging along. Believe me, the Squatchers Lounge didn't start out with 12,000 subscribers and 4 million views. Okay.
Yeah.
I struggled for 34 people to watch my crap for years. Okay. So just keep at it.
I'm going to keep at it.
YouTube's not what it once was, though.
Yeah, that's true.
They don't recommend Bigfoot things. Bigfoot isn't in pop culture anymore, so they don't recommend the shows like they used to. Believe me, it's YouTube analytics suck right now for anything Bigfoot. I can tell you that I have Bigfoot campfire stories that have near 500,000 views on their own, and they're barely getting watched now. And that doesn't make any sense. You know, they were getting 4,000 views a day for, 6 years, and now all of a sudden they're getting 100 views a day.
Yeah.
So their algorithms change all the time, but keep at it because you'll get there. I mean, I keep putting up with my dumb ass. My people will follow you.
Anybody follow me? No. Okay. No. Well, let's get down to the nitty gritty because we've got some stuff to do. And that is the topic of the day is Bigfoot Speaks.
What?
And that's how I meant it to.
Yeah.
What?
Howls, hoots, and screams, and what have you. We've got people believing in all that, stuff. And I know a lot of you have heard stuff out there. So let's see if we can discuss some of this stuff. And
are we going to take it with a grain of sand, or are we going to?
We're going to kick it in the ass.
Okay, so we're here to be blatantly honest about what we think about something.
Yeah,
I don't have any other way to do it,
stuff.
but yeah,
and same here.
Everybody has their own opinions and forms their own opinions on their own experiences. That's fine. If you've been out there and you heard this shit yourself, let me know in the chat. I want to hear about that. I've heard a lot of stuff out there, but I never Bigfoot. Whoa, that's never been me. I've always first type of person. So but they're interesting. I have to say, I've been listening to stuff for days now, and it's very interesting. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it and see what it is. So the first one we are going to talk about is everybody's favorite.
I think you're kind of freezing up, Nikki.
It's like going in and out. I can see it.
Yeah.
But I don't want to switch to Wi-Fi in the middle of the show. So it's coming back. It's going
good.
down and coming up and going down. So just bear with me. It'll stabilize in a little bit. So Sasquatch, Ontario. I know a lot of you have heard about him, and we're not going to do a big old thing because I've got plans. Okay, who's in charge of this Sasquatch Ontario and his Bigfoot Nephatia, which is one of his main peeps. And
Nefertiti.
So that was the main his mic. I tried to look for flower.
Marble.
I can't even do it.
We should have a contest who could do the best mic impression.
Yeah.
Our best Nephatia impression.
And I don't know. I mean, there's still people out there that believe this was real. Now, all this has already come out in the open. People have the owner already confessed to doing the voice himself. I mean, he even put out video about how I'm Nephatia and all this stuff. And there was actually a lot of information at one time on YouTube, but I believe a lot of that stuff was taken down. And but you also have
boy.
He showed how he made it.
Can you say I am not real?
I am not real. Howard.
Well, Mike is actually still.
Oh, hold on. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Mike is actually still pushing the whole narrative here. Because I actually saw him in a Facebook group, selling his whole narrative.
Yeah.
Part of the problem with Sasquatch Ontario, and I'll name it outright, and it's not slander if it's true, is Christopher Noel lending his credibility to the whole bullshit, saying that he saw a marble materialize out of thin air and drop to the ground, as if Bigfoot would have this ability to just make marbles and make them drop out of thin air. I don't understand I mean, Christopher Noel was always kind of wooish, but until he got involved with this, I kind of gave him a pass. But then, it's like Ron Moorhead with the whole quantum Bigfoot. We'll get there soon.
Yeah, you got to watch out for the Bigfoot influencers, the one that influences a lot of people with what they say and their conclusions, because you got to watch out because they might be wrong.
Well, Thinker Thunker is another one that people just like hang on to his, analysis for dear fucking life, as if their lives depended on it, because if he's not right, then nothing's right. And it's like, okay, I don't know why buffalo would stand in a field and let, predators walk right up to them. That doesn't make any sense to me, but okay, if you say so. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
We'll get there too.
Pace yourself.
Yeah. You keep that train on the track.
Right. Oh gosh. Hey, go.
Wait. Matt. Go away. Matt. No. Trouble. Wait. No. Matt. Bye.
So, we know what it is, but it's unbelievable. So hold on to that. That they think that this flower and this and that, it's all real.
Well, when I first got into the subject, I kind of believed it, but I was really naive, didn't know any better, and didn't have the experience needed to properly vet some of the stuff that I was coming across. And I think that that's kind of what the problem is. And I think that that's who Mike Patterson's big, subscribers are people new that they don't really know the subject. They're unaware that he was already busted for hoaxing, and the cabin owner already came out and said, hey, this is how it's done. Here's the eyeball even. But the thing is, it's and the cabin owner was just done with it. And Mike Patterson still is able to present his narrative because the cabin owner won't, do anymore.
Originally, he wanted to charge people to come up to the property and investigate, but couldn't get the licensing and couldn't get permission from the owner to do that. And that's, where he kind of went sideways with all this, trying to make the money off of YouTube, which is the same thing that Todd Standing wants to do. Todd Standing has an active website right now for $5,000. He'll take you out Bigfooting. Yeah. You can have a guaranteed Bigfoot encounter of some sort. It's like, did you know that I sell Bigfoot flutes? If you play this flute, I make them and I sell these. If you play this flute, you'll see a Bigfoot in the woods.
Materialize.
Contact me at Flute Player. At fluteplayer.edu. It's about cash. And at the time that Mike Patterson came out, we were talking about this backstage. There was a lot of money to be made on YouTube in the begining when Bigfoot was in pop culture. And, sites like Bigfoot Evidence, thousands of dollars a month. I mean, dude didn't have to work. He did a blog and did YouTube, and that was his job, and, I used to make close to $1,200 a month off of YouTube for a couple of years until that all fell apart due to their algorithm bullshit. But I think we've already covered that in the last show. But yeah, this time, anybody that could get a Bigfoot video to go viral, because Finding Bigfoot was on TV and everything was Bigfoot on Travel Channel and the Science Channel and Yeti searches and Dr. Sites and the veterinarian that likes to screw bears. I heard that on the internet once, that he likes to screw bears.
Oh my God.
Must be true.
No, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it was
on the internet.
Walker's Loud's podcast, and I'm pretty sure it was your old pal Wes. But
might be a bias there.
So there might, you might have heard it there. But I'm just, there was all that stuff that was in mainstream 8 p.m. TV, and YouTube was hot, and anybody that could get something to just get 10, 20,000 views on one thing would cause 2,000 to 3,000 views on something else. So it was not really a matter of truth in topic at that time. And I will admit, I did all kind of shit just to get clicks, but at least I wasn't presenting hoax and bullshit. I would go out and search for stuff to make an informative piece of news about, and then I would post it to my website, to my YouTube channel every day. Why? Because it generated cash in my pocket. I wasn't getting rich by any stretch of the imagination, but it was nice to have an extra chunk of cash come in every month from a hobby. I had a hobby that paid me. But this guy, they tried to maximize the amount of views that they could get. And the more people that sucked on, the more people that were sycophantic about it. Because that's what it is. It's not fanatic. It's sycophantic. And I don't want to go too highbrow on you people out there. But all the people that surrounded Alexander the Great throughout his life, hoping to get a bite of the territory after he died, are considered sycophants. So somebody who's sycophantic is somebody who just wants to suck on for a piece of the glory in the end of it. They don't really believe in it. They just want that, the more sycophantic people they could get attached to them, the more views they got, the more money was in their pocket, the more videos they made.
Huh. Sounds like some shenanigans going on.
I'm calling shenanigans, damn it.
Yeah, this was a really interesting one because I like I say I first came into believing it, and then probably 6 months afterwards I started like, okay, this probably isn't right.
Yeah, when he first started with just like grunts and groans and walking around the tent and some snowcast, snow tracks here and there in the beginning, I was like, oh, dude, I'm hoping for the best for this. I really am. And I did follow it for a while. But then once the language started, I was just like, oh, okay, now I see what's going on here. You got some jackass in the woods with, casts on some friggin' either some, if I were going to do something like that, I would take that, the Grays Harbor print, because there's a right and a left foot that are really perfect. I'd mount them to a couple of pairs of short stilts. And I just walk all over the damn snow with those things, because that's going to be like perfect, because there's no reason for there to be movement under the foot because you're just compacting snow. So they look like a stamp because, well, even in real, they would just be a stamp. But yeah, no, unfortunately.
So there's two right and a left for the Grays Harbor?
There's actually a right, a half track left, another right, and a left. I've actually seen examples of them all. I have a right and a half step left in my.
What's your thoughts? What's your thoughts about the legitimacy of them?
I like them. I do like them, and the reason that I like them is because they're not. I don't know how to. The half track itself sells the originality of the flexibility of the foot because it was running. So it planted a right foot, and then it hit that mid-tarsal break on the left foot as it was going across the road, and then landed a right foot and a left foot on the other side of the road in the dirt that became full tracks. And then it just kind of pittered out into dust at that point. Mm-hmm. So they got very, very lucky that there was mud in the places that there was, and that the half track was castable, because that was a little bit harder than what the other areas was. But basically it ran across the road, and they were able to get a series of tracks out of it. And that's one of the things, like I could go investigating with Rowdy Kelly any chance I can get together with the guy. I mean, he really, as a naturalist, he spends more time in the woods than anybody else I know. And I've spent months upon months doing owl research, trying to, in my biology degree, and he still dwarfs me. If he can be outside, he is outside. That's that dude. And we had found a impression set at Twin Lakes when I was up there investigating it with him at one time. And that was before we would even consider that it could be Bigfoot tracks. He said there has to be at least 3. If you don't see 3 impressions in a row, who knows what the hell it is. But if it looks like it's in step the way it should be, which you can tell in a 3-step, in a 3-step track, then you should investigate it further. Of course, we took pictures of everything, and it was pine litter more than anything else. And you could also see that at the center one, something had been digging at it. And that would indicate a foraging animal, probably foraging for insects, so did something come through there like a bear and find ants running through there and just kind of pawed it open and ate the, licked up the ants as it went along in a few places and then kept walking down to the lake because we were on an obvious bear trail? Very possibly. But like I said, you have to meet certain criteria before you can even consider that it would be a possible track. And, that would be the thing, is having multiple tracks. And the Grace Harbor had that. So.
Well, that's actually, I didn't know that, because actually I have that print, and the print looks really good. It's like, wow, if Bigfoot.
I thought that the bottom of that were showing veins, but it's not. The bottom of that, because it's an impression of the foot in the ground, is just showing the cracks that the ground already had in it, or that were caused when the weight went down. But that shows me a big shift in dirt as that foot went through that substrate, enough to crack open that so it showed up in the castings. So that's I of the credible tracks out there, I would say Gray Harbor is probably like, the gold standard.
Oh, nice.
My opinion. Hi, welcome back.
Hey, Nikki.
We continue on without you a little bit. Yeah,
we missed you.
We did. I knew you were gone because you were frozen.
Yeah, I could tell it kept coming in and out, and I'm like, oh God, it's gonna go out all the way, because we've got it's really, really cloudy and bad weather out there. So it is what it is.
Do you have satellite internet?
I've got Spectrum.
I don't know what
because
the hell
it's the
Spectrum
only
is.
thing that's in our area.
What the hell is Spectrum?
So it's horrible. Yeah.
Is it a cable or is it a phone
yeah,
line?
it's a cable.
Oh, well, they just suck then, because
Yeah,
there's no
they
reason
suck.
anything. Well, the only reason your cable should go out, your cable modem should go out if it's storming or rainy out there, is if their crappy ass wires are getting wet.
Well, they probably are. This is a horrible. I live on the outskirts of El Paso.
Yeah.
And when we first moved here, we actually had to audit them to put put internet out here, because there wasn't even internet established. We were the first.
Well,
Ooh,
for
nice.
Biden, they're going to
Crazy.
have it in Kathmandu on us for free. So you just wait. 5G is coming.
Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah.
Sierra Sounds, Samurai
Sierra
Chatter.
Sounds.
Ooh,
This
they're probably the
is,
most
uh,
famous.
Samurai Chatter.
Jeffrey's can't wait to get to this. So
Oh,
we've
good
got, for those of you who don't know about the Sierra Sounds, they were recorded by Ron Moorhead back in 1972 in like a remote hunting camp in California. And it's been studied, and people say it's real,
Sorry. That's my favorite one.
Oh my God, it's Bigfoot.
Yeah, I'm trying,
Yep, that's how it sounds. I'm sure all of you kind of recognize that.
Well, the thing is, it was a back and forth responding in real time. So if it was made in the studio, how would that be done if they're
No,
responding back and forth with them?
No, that's not what happened at all. I can tell you that.
Well, you can hear it in the audio.
No, you can hear audio that is cut together to seem like a conversation. Do you know how movies are made? I mean, seriously.
You're going like full. Okay.
That's absolutely done in a studio. It's all cut together in a studio. I guarantee it. There's absolutely no way it can't be. And here's why. If people out there don't understand how a movie is made, it's real simple. When you see two people where the view keeps changing over their shoulder, you're looking at him, you're looking at her, you're looking at him, you're looking at her, you'll never notice that there's a camera behind either one of them. Okay, they're not having that conversation. There's a camera behind her. He says his lines. Then they they switch the view back up. They set the cameras back up, and then they put the camera view on her. She says her lines, and then some poor bastard who ain't making no money at all sits in an editing friggin' room and puts that conversation together as if it's happening in real time to bring us into the illusion that they had a back and forth, but they didn't. Okay, that's what actors say is one of the hardest things about being natural conversationalist when you're not actually having a conversation with anybody. I do it on my show every single week, and it really is hard to have a conversation with yourself. Okay,
And
so
how did you come to that conclusion?
Well, okay, so you take just the equipment. Okay, this was done in 1977? 72. Okay, so in 1972, the only equipment that you could have gotten into a location like this was a reel-to-reel recorder, because the cassette tape didn't exist. They did in big form, but they didn't have little, click, click. And on documentaries, Al Berry himself had a copy of what he used up there, and it was indeed a reel-to-reel recording device. Okay, those things suck so much ass that if you flick a booger on it, they go out of sync, and you've got to be able to adjust it to record properly. Okay, so one, they would have had a reel-to-reel technician with them. Al Berry would not have known how to do that. Al Berry would have given it to somebody at the Sacramento Bee and said, "This recorder sucks. I can't understand nothing on it."
How many people were up there at this
there were
said
two.
event?
There were
Just
two.
two?
There were Ron Moorhead and Al Berry.
Okay.
So now, the only microphones that were portable enough that you would even dare take out into the field that weren't, a gazillion friggin' dollars were little tiny diaphragm mics. I don't know how old you are, but these things are little plastic things with a little plastic diaphragm on them. That
isn't there a picture of them of that actual microphone?
Yes,
set up.
Okay,
but
it looks impressive, but it's crap. It's 1972 technology. Okay, portable 1972 technology at that. Okay, so they hang that in a tree, and they go inside their little hut, and they make a whole bunch of noises, and they do their side of the conversation. Then they take that home to the studio and record the Bigfoot sounds in the studio, because the ambient sound is significantly higher in the Bigfoot vocals than they are in the human vocals. They said the humans were only 15 yards away in a hut, but the Bigfoot were 60 yards away down in a valley. But yet the Bigfoot are louder and pegs the needle. There's no way they would be powerful enough that far away. When they wouldn't even be picked up at 60 yards away. Period. Just wouldn't happen. You'd hear.
Has there ever been a recreation with this technology to determine exactly what could be picked up? And do you know if there's been any sort of is there any sort of? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, if you take a copy of the Bigfoot, the Sierra sounds, okay. If you take a copy, a section of the back and forth, and you load it into Audacity, okay. And then you look at the spectrum of the difference between the two, you can actually see that the stuff they did in the wild is yay high, and the stuff that they did in the studio is yay high. You can physically see the burst of difference in the spectrum itself in cheap ass software. I mean, if I had some high tech analytic software, I could show you even more so and show you that, there ain't nothing in the spectrum that would keep a human from making those tones. Back in the day, when they had them analyzed, it was 1977, and they were analyzed on a computer from 1977. Okay, and I got news for you. In 1977, computers were shit. Okay, just like the microphones were shit in 72. So the problem becomes the diaphragm microphone wouldn't be able to pick up the Bigfoot from the distance that they say that they picked them up from. So that's problem number one. Problem number two, the Bigfoot peg the actual power meter in the recordings themselves. That's problem number two. The ambient sound between the Bigfoot and the guys is completely different. That's problem number three. And they say they were up there for 7 days recording. Well, the biggest tape you could get for one of those small machines was 30 minutes. So how many donkeys full of batteries, D-size cell batteries that only are going to last about 90 minutes? How many donkeys of batteries and tapes did you take up on the hill with you?
Did they ever mention how many tapes there were in all, and if there's any raw footage of the actual, event?
I would assume there would have to be, because it is edited together as a story. So somebody has taken the time to, even the original record release was edited together as a story and put out as told by Al Berry.
Do you think anybody in that time had went ahead and enhanced the Bigfoot sounds to make them sound more louder than what the other sounds are?
Well, at the time, that's how you know that they're recorded in a studio, because if they were recorded out in the same ambient sounds that they did their side of it, the meter would be far lower. They could be there. They could just have done it 10 yards away, but they didn't. They were definitely sitting in front of a microphone and adding echo and using filters of that era. They very well did some things to make it sound less human, for sure.
Do you think that there was any sort of echo that would cause the sounds to be projected louder? Like a geographic, like if they're up against a...
I guess if they were standing in an amphitheater, a natural amphitheater, because that's how the Greeks did it. I mean, they found a canyon that they liked, and one dude stood in the middle of the canyon, and then they go, oh, we could reproduce this back home. Let's do that. And that's pretty much how the amphitheater was figured out, was through canyon speeches and that kind of stuff. But
yeah,
they were up on the top of a ridge.
Okay.
They were on the top of a ridge, and we know where the ridge is because it burnt down a few years back. So we know exactly what ridge it is now. I mean, he would never disclose it beforehand, but and again, in all that time between 1972 and 2021 or 2020, okay, never once was he able to go back up there and capture anything like what they said they captured in 1972.
Well, nobody has since then, really.
And that was going to be one of my points. When you hear these sounds, listen, if you like what you're hearing, fine, run with it. But tell me this. Why is it that everything modern that we hear right now of people putting on that are going out in the woods, boots on the ground, and you're listening to their audios, what do you hear? You hear the wind, you hear the crinkle of the pine needles on your feet, you hear the birds singing, you hear a plane out in the distance or a truck going down the valley, but not once in this far out valley of wilderness do you hear anything. You don't hear anything wild in that audio other than his voice and the supposed Bigfoot. You don't hear no ambient sounds. You don't hear any wind or anything like that comes natural in the forest. And that's what, to me, sounds really weird and processed.
Do me a favor. Everybody give me just like 10 seconds of silence real quick, because I'm trying to cut a piece of audio that'll be really useful for the show. So if you can give me like 10 seconds of silence, and I'll get that, and I'll tell you as soon as I'm done. Can we do that?
Okay.
Sure.
Ready?
Start
Go.
now. Okay. Perfect. Got it. Hello.
Hello.
All right, we're good. Yep, we're absolutely good. Thank you.
Let's see what you got.
Well, the audio that I'm pulling right here is from a trip that I did with Jonathan Easley from Western Bigfoot Exploration. And let me see here if I can do this. Edit preferences, playback. Shit.
Okay.
Okay. Let me export it real quick and play it the other way. Export as a way.
So Al Berry was the investigative reporter.
Correct.
That was Ron's companion, friend.
He was just who Ron chose to go up there and
to travel with him.
To travel with him, because Ron had been having encounters up there with vocals, and Al says, "Well, I got a real recorder. We could go up there. Why not?" And I guess that's how they ended up. Who knows how the two of them got paired together? To be honest with you,
I thought there was a group of people that were going up there that were up there at first went up there to discover the sounds, and then went back up there in a group to record these sounds.
Well, there might have been a third person. It's hard to remember the story without listening to it recently, and I just heard about the show today. So,
No, it's all good.
Damn it, that's not what I want. Why does everything have to become freaking difficult for me when I'm trying to do something in the middle of a show? I don't know.
That's the way it is.
All right, here we go. So Jonathan and I are at Louse Camp with Rowdy Kelly, and we're packing up
Bluff Creek area.
To the Bluff Creek area, going down. We were packing up to go home, and we were stopping by the film site because I had taken Jonathan down the day before and warned him, don't think you're there too early because you won't be. It's around the corner, and he didn't go around the corner, so he thought he was there, so he had to go back down. As we were packing up, he caught this particular vocal, and I still don't know what the hell it is. Now I've lost where I put it. What the freaking hell, man? I am blind as a bat. Okay, I'll put it there. I'll find the other one later. Okay, so here it is. Yeah, what the hell is that?
And you were way out there or something?
Now, I personally was about 20 feet to his right, along with the other two people that were in camp with us. And
what was this heard real time?
It was not heard real time. It was not detected until he went back to put his video together at home. This was a bad take of something. Here, I've actually got it a little bit better here. Let's see here.
That sounds similar to another audio I have.
We're not saying that it's Bigfoot, but out of the Sierra Sound types of, audio, that's the closest I've ever been during an investigation to finding something that's even close.
Do you think that it's possible that it might be something that since it wasn't heard in real time, that the sound was made off something like he was wearing, like a jacket or something like that? Guys,
for sure. They've done an investigation on it, and they've actually nailed down where the sound actually came from, how far away from the microphone it was. See, this wasn't even like, if you look at it in the spectrum, it doesn't even look like it exists. You literally have to go in there and pick it out. Have to know where it is, pick it out, and enhance it so that you can hear it in the background.
Because sometimes I'll pick up what sounds like something talking or whatever. But when you really listen to it, it's like my jacket or my backpack that I'm wearing makes a specific sound, rubbing sound when I'm moving, which is something like that. So that's what I was mentioning.
I've walked creeks with a backpack like that, and it echoes off of the rocks, and you think it sounds like somebody walking behind you.
Yeah,
turning around looking for somebody, and there ain't nobody there. But but no, for sure they've been back to the site and done a thorough investigation on it, and you can, through the entire piece of that video, you can hear me and Rowdy and Greg, I believe it is, off to the other side talking for a second before he took that. And then that was taken, and then it wasn't even used because of all the noise around. He just reset and took it again, and there was no other audio after that. But during that same trip, the first night we were there, nothing happened. The second night we were there, I was sleeping in the Suburban because there weren't two trees close enough to me, and I didn't bring my redwood straps to put up my hammock like a dumbass. I forgot how big those trees really are down there. And so I was sleeping in the Suburban, and something came right up behind the Suburban and whooped twice. Whoop, whoop. Shook me straight up. I sat up looking around, trying to see what the hell was going on. It woke Jonathan up. He sat up in his tent. I didn't get out of the truck because I was hoping something was walking around camp, and we had recorders going. We had cameras going. We were hoping there was game crams on a couple of sides of the camp, and then it was just silent again. But this was the same trip. This was the same trip. And we were down there all by ourselves. And the there had just been like a whole bunch of activity down there for like 8 or 10 days, and then there was nothing. And then the two of us just kind of slipped in down there. And the first day we didn't go anywhere. The second day we didn't go anywhere. Actually, the first day we did, we went with Glenn. We went with Brown Dwarf up to Onion Lake. But then we just kind of sat around and was just real quiet, let everything settle down. And that seems to make things happen. But like I said, that is just one of those weird ass sounds that I can't identify it.
Wow. Yeah.
I'd like to know anybody out there that can, tell me what the hell that is. Please do.
Yeah, it's a good one. Good
Jeff's
catch too.
asking if you had an audio sitting around the fire too, right?
Well, we had that happen to us in the Sierra Nevadas. Yes, we were sitting around the fire 10 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. One of the dudes was in the camper cooking. And the rest of us were sitting around the fire. And literally all we just get is a big whoop. That was it. Just quiet as can be.
Wow.
So, all right,
true,
back to the idea of the Sierra sounds. Now, I was able to find a bunch of stuff here. Everybody wants to talk about this guy, Scott Nelson. Scott Nelson said that the Sierra sounds are real. Scott Nelson is a crypto linguist. He's a crypto zoologist, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Yeah, Scott Nelson. Okay. Scott Nelson was a code breaker for the military, period. That's it. That's where his cryptid comes into anything. He decrypted things for the military. He ain't anything fancy.
Does he have any sort of degree in linguist or language or whatever?
Yeah, he taught languages absolutely. He was teaching languages at the Wentworth Military College. Absolutely. He's trained in languages, but the problem becomes the same problem with the Ketchum Project, which, by the way, the Sierra sounds are directly wrapped up in the Ketchum DNA study with Scott Nelson declaring that, the Sasquatch speech is real and that's why he supports it and blah, 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 blah. But, if you want to learn Bigfoot, how to talk Bigfoot, apparently David Paldy's website at the North American Bigfoot Search has the entire phonetic alphabet and what it means and how.
Is that from Janice Carter?
The phenome key. Oh, we can talk about Janice Carter. I was actually friends with Janice Carter before she disappeared.
She's back now.
Yeah, I know she's like Dr. Dr. Magic Johnson. She has a closed brain injury, the same as he does. So these days, she very well may be seeing mystical Bigfoot that asks for garlic. I don't doubt that in her mind, she might be seeing that. But, the rest of us won't be able to see said magical Bigfoot asking for garlic. Same thing with Dr. Johnson. I feel bad for the dude because his sycophants have just led him down a path. His wife should be ashamed of herself. But I digress. The Bigfoot sounds, the whole phonetic alphabet and broken down on how they're, compound phenomes and abbreviation key and everything, how to talk. And it's, there's actually a transcribed Barry tapes from Scott Nelson out there. And it literally under the description says utterance. Not phrase, it says utterance. So Ramho Barukuha is something in Bigfoot. Not sure what, but learn it, because I'm sure these are all phrases you need to know, like, donde está el baño? That's a good thing to know in Spanish. You don't care about the biblioteque. You want to know what a baño is. Donde está el baño? Whamvo hoof. Obviously means something else. Donde está mi sombrero? It's good to know where your hat is. Your zapatos, donde está my zapatos? No gu step ga kublem. I mean, it's literally by second. This schlop, I don't know what else to call him, has gone through every single second of the supposed Barry tapes and tells you what the phrases they were saying were. I don't understand.
Now, what about this Nancy Logan? They said that she was a human sound expert,
Oh, wouldn't
certified as a court interpreter in several language. That
wasn't
she
that the quack that they had on the Bigfoot North program that said she could animal communications specialist?
Isn't that a Todd Standing show?
Yeah, the Bigfoot North with Dr. Meldrum and Todd
Yeah,
Standing.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't leave out the Dr. Meldrum part because
Yeah, I don't know how.
he believes that is the best podcast work in Bigfooting.
Oh.
Him, Todd Standing, and this crazy ass woman that thinks she can talk to animals. Look, if you can talk to animals, it's real simple to prove. Here's the litmus test. Go put a ball of a particular color somewhere and tell the animal that you want them to move it to a new location and put a camera at the new location. Once that animal moves the ball in, then we know that you can talk to animals. Real easy, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
If you can get, I don't care how they're feeling. I really don't care how my cat feels. Your cat's feeling a little depressed. Yeah, he's always depressed. Look at him. He's ugly.
Well, it's like if you ever want to prove, if you have cloaked Bigfoots around you and everybody's like, oh, they're cloaked, but I can talk to them mind speak. All you do is have to write a number, put it on your back, right? And have the person that's mind speaking with the Bigfoots, have the Bigfoots tell that person what that number is. So you can get people in like little ways, like you're talking about, to show their total bullshit.
Just pick a hand, okay? I mean, God damn.
But back to the CR sounds. So, is there another sort of expert that deals with language and whatever that nobody in the world is backing up those audios? Just one dude.
Same problem with Melba Ketchum's DNA study. Not a single DNA person will say that she has any credibility or any stance in this whatsoever. In fact, when they look at that study, it's a clown.
What about Jeff Meldrum's conclusions for the feet, the footprints? His the whole thing with that. Is there anybody in his field that is backing him up, that's saying, yeah, he's actually legit, these are really Bigfoot, I don't know what these are or whatever?
Not that I'm aware of. No, he's the only podiatrist / anthropologist that I guess Dr. Krantz, when he was alive, he believed in it and he was an anthropologist. So there were,
so do you see that as a problem? Do you see that as a problem?
No, I see that as a cowardness in the lack of truth, in the lack of a search for truth. Science is supposed to be a search for truth. At least that's what it was when I went to school and was trying to become a biologist. You were seeking to prove a truth. You want to know what my study was on the great horned owl. I wanted to know everything about them. I wanted to know how they bred. I wanted to know how they fed. I wanted to know how they nested. I wanted to know where they lived and why. Why did they choose 6,000 feet and not 4,000 feet? I wanted to know all those things in different places of the country, and I traveled all over to do it. That you got there's a certain amount of dedication that has to be spent to be able to back up your ability to do this. And I got to be honest with you, most scientists are friggin' pencil neck geeks that couldn't chop a piece of wood if you gave them the axe and the instructions on how to do it. People have forgotten how to be woodsmen because they've never had to be. And those people don't spend a lot of time in the woods where these things would live, and to really do any type of scientific exploration without money, is exactly where we're at. We're a whole bunch of people with a bunch of game cameras taking a postage stamp size picture of the entire, great overlook. I mean, do you know how many cameras it would take to cover the Sierra? Just how many cameras it would take to cover the Tahoe National Forest?
Probably a lot.
It'd take 2 million cameras. It would take 2 million cameras to cover that many acreage, to cover all the main pathways. I'm not even talking about every acre. I'm just talking about all the ways in and out of the Tahoe forest through the woods. You'd have to put up 2 million cameras. We got maybe 2,000 out there. Maybe even 20,000 out there. But they aren't looking for Bigfoot. They're looking for deer and pig and, anything else cougar, anything else these guys can go out and hunt because they're not on the on the trail for Bigfoot. And guess what? They're still not getting pictures of Bigfoot. But we're still only taking postage size stamps pictures of when we go up to Plumas and overlook our investigation area from the fire outlook. It's 190 million acres in that one plateau that we can see. The ridge lines all between and everything. You know, you're on the fire lookout, so you're on the highest point. You know, when we look out over, it's 190 million acres. There's probably 700 Bigfoot down there. But where the hell are they today?
So do you think it might be a good idea that people start switching their trail cams to creeks versus like game trails or other regular trails? Because it seems like they might use creeks more to navigate the area without wearing the actual land down. So which would lead back to their area.
Honestly, people needed to take a step back out of the whole trail idea. Ideally, what you would want to do is find tracks first. Okay, find something you think are Bigfoot tracks, and then you need to find open meadows at either end of that pathway, and then set that camera up 60 yards at the back of that meadow and watch everything that walks into that trail line. Okay, get pictures from it afar first, and then you can worry about getting pictures up close. Because at 12 megapixels at 60 yards, shit, I can zoom right the hell in on that. There's no doubt as to what that will be. It will not be blurry. You know, it won't be mistaken that it's something else that it's not. If you get a picture of a Bigfoot at 60 yards at 12 megapixels, I can blow the shit up out of that and still prove that it's a Bigfoot. So I think people need to take a step back and get off a ground level if you can, get it up in a tree at an angle pointing down and set it to what they call plot watch, to where it just takes a picture every 10 or 20 seconds. And only take pictures during the daytime, because to be honest with you, at nighttime, they're going to be shit anyhow. So only take pictures during the daytime. Set it for, oh, you know, Bigfoot can smell a camera. Maybe, but not from 60 yards away. Bigfoot can hear a camera, not from 60 yards away. You know,
the IR thing, the IR light.
That there is no IR light because you're not taking pictures at night, and it's not set up to be tripped. Mm-hmm. It's set up to just take a picture every 20 seconds. So all of that maybe, I don't know any other ape that can see IR, but whatever, you know, maybe, okay, then turn the IR off. That's how you turn your IR off, is by setting it to that plot, to that. All the new cameras have that setting.
Ran for night view.
Oh, God.
Which one talk to this?
Do you hear the difference?
Yep.
And how far was this away from Ron? The microphone?
15 yards. But you can literally hear there is an ambient noise under it all.
Mm-hmm. Like a hum?
And when Ron comes, that hum is gone. They're not recorded in the same location.
Did you hear that? Right at that point, it changes.
Yeah,
the back changes. So that was a splice that we heard.
It's like when you listen to Todd Standing's intro, where Dr. Meldrum talks about looking into the eyes of a real Bigfoot. Okay, if you actually analyze that piece, I'll strip that audio out of the video and put it in Audacity and actually listen to it. There are 11 edits where Standing just took chunks of words that Meldrum said and made Meldrum say what he wanted him to say. And Dr. Meldrum has never once complained about that.
Hey, do you know how long the actual Sierra Sound event took place? Was it over the course of many hours? Or
they said they were there for a week recording.
But for the actual encounter part of it,
I don't know. I have no idea. I can't remember the storyline.
Because
sorry,
that might contribute to the splice though that you played, Nikki, because it was probably spliced together from a much longer session with it. Yeah, so it'd be really interesting to find out if the original still exists and if it's still able to be examined and what that whole thing is about, how long it actually lasted too.
Well, Al Berry died. He's long been gone, and I guess Ron Moorhead would hold the original tapes, but that's never been, no one. He's never offered it to anybody new to analyze.
Well, has anybody asked to see about just analyzing the original reel-to-reel tapes? Do they still exist? It'd be something that someone should find out.
Even if they did exist at this point, I mean, we're talking nearly 50 years later. They're not going to be as pristine enough to really do much with. They're cellophane.
But maybe they have clues within them to help determine if they're real or not. Yeah.
Why would he give that? That's like asking Hunter for his new laptop.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things where the thing is, if the investigator doesn't want to give up the additional evidence that they're presenting to the public, if they don't want to give that up, then that's really kind of shady and shifty, because it happens even nowadays where you try to get information from a Bigfoot researcher that, stuff that they're presenting to the public, but they don't want to give you like the details to help prove what they're talking about is actually going on. So if he was a legitimate researcher, he should be more than willing to offer up the tapes to somebody that's credible that can go through it and really kind of dial it in.
In this point in time, to be fair, Ron Moorhead has shown his true colors in complete support of Zorth and the Bigfoot people of Tree Light orbs from another planet, and has written the book Quantum Bigfoot. So,
that's cool. I'm cool. He can go down the woo train, but
the problem with it is now you have to call in his credibility from 1977 with the release of all this stuff. I mean, you have to wonder, okay, now he's selling this Quantum Bigfoot thing because woo is a big thing. I don't understand it. I don't get why people have to attribute supernatural or superhuman powers to these things. Bigfoot existing is, cool enough, but apparently not.
Well, people like to create their own individual Bigfoot thing, their own Bigfoot, so to speak, and similar to how people create their own gods. And so they can make their Bigfoot do whatever they want. And sometimes they believe it. Sometimes they just do it for money. But I think that's what might contribute to some woo. Maybe there's something to it. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I've never had a woo experience. I'm open to it, but it's just
I've seen crazy shit in the woods, my man. I have seen lights I can't explain. I have seen moving objects I can't explain. I have seen upright beings I can't explain in the woods, but I don't attribute those to Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they might be mistaken too. It might be a completely different phenomenon that they're experiencing.
Do large hairy bipedal things come out of UFOs? Maybe they do, but
I don't know.
They're not the Bigfoot that we're chasing on the ground here that have been here since the beginning of time. That even the Native Americans have stories from long before the white man got here. And I use white man, lightly because I don't really believe in white people, but That's the story.
That's for another show.
A whole different show.
That's the story, and he's sticking to it.
That's right. That's a whole different show. Well, it's exactly.
But no, I think that if somebody's listening and does have access to Ron Moorhead, they should ask him if he has the original audio tapes to that event, because if he does, then maybe we can get some more information from him with a modern day exploration of what's really kind of on there with skilled people who actually know how to look at that type of stuff. So it's definitely worth exploring, even though they might be, not the highest quality that they were back then, but it's still something that I think that we should definitely explore to try and learn more to prove or disprove it. Yeah, I know.
Good luck.
I know that's the tough part, is trying to get evidence from
from the guy who's pulling the guy who's pulling the scam, who's still selling the books, still selling the CDs, still selling the downloads. Yeah, it's gonna be.
But the cooperation with the Bigfoot researcher when asking about the evidence, for me, is a really good telltale sign of the transparency and the accountability of that said researcher.
I have a real easy litmus test when people give me Bigfoot stories. Were you scared? Oh no, man, I wasn't scared. Yeah, you're full of shit. Okay, because the 3 times I've had them up close to me, I've peed myself all 3 times, just a little bit, because these things are terrifying. You know, up close, they really, really are. They just give you the impression that if they want to, they rip your arms off and beat you to death with them. Not saying that they acted that way. I'm just saying a chimp can do it. These big bastards will just like pop your head off like a damn Pez dispenser. Boop. Hey, look at that.
Yeah, Jay just said that the original tapes are destroyed in a fire. So
there you go.
That's all right. The '94 Ohio Howl.
Oh, okay.
Well, hey, actually, let me finish out one thing, and
Yeah, go.
about the that stupid thing, the Sierra files. Where the hell is it? Here it is. On the Idaho State University EDU page, in the Relic Hominid Inquiry from 2018, I'll put a link in the chat. There is a paper done on languages in higher primates, and it's done by a fellow named Ronald Cosper. And it's all based upon R. Scott Nelson's attributions to Bigfoot speech and such. And it just goes to show that, you know, here is another instance where Dr. Meldrum has allowed, you know, Woo to pop itself into, you know, his scientific, you know, pages about how people were made and languages in higher primates. And it's not that big of a read, you know, it's like 3 pages, but you know, then you go over to something else like, oh, I don't know, the Linguist Hall of Shame. And number 17 of the Linguist Hall of Shame is literally Ron Moorhead and Scott Nelson and his book Voices in the Wilderness. And literally there's a plethora of reasons as to why, you know, it's bullshit here and you probably shouldn't believe in it. And I will put that link right there in the chat as well if you'd like to go and take a look at that. So
wow.
The other thing that I had mentioned was, and I hate to do this because God, he's such a crony dick. Here's a link to that phonetic. If you too want to learn Bigfoot, you can go to David Pilati, which I dare you to debate me, you bastard, on anything. Your choice of topics, man. You just come on out here to the Yuba, Sacramento, San Francisco area. Come out here to the El Dorado National Forest. Come on out here to any event that I've got and debate me, you bastard. We'll talk about the color of bubblegum on the street, and I will wipe the friggin' floors with you, you quack. Sorry. I screw that guy. Sorry.
So,
hey, look, the views of the Reverend Reverend Captain Two Gun Kelly Esquire may not be those of Harry Man hoodwinks and hoaxes, but they may be of the views and the opinions of the guests themselves. So there, you're covered now. Okay, I'll take responsibility for my own damn comments. Fuck you.
Oh man.
And you're missing 411 books, you douche. Sorry. Tell us how you really feel, Rev. Hey, look, man, don't trust the preacher to tell you the truth. If you can't get your preacher to tell you the truth, then who's going to tell you the truth?
I don't know.
The Ohio Howl. Oh, here's the Ohio. Here's yeah. Go ahead and play the Ohio.
Oh, and you had the other one, right? Too.
Yeah, I got that one ready.
Okay. Oh, look, I'm trying to click on this one. I have to go to the other. Yeah. What happened?
I can't hear it.
I should have told you all to bring headphones to this show.
I like that one personally. It was taken at a time that Bigfoot wasn't popular, and Bigfoot investigations were still small and kind of, off the grid.
Right.
And, there wasn't really any reason to fake that. Somebody legitimately, the dog itself didn't like it. I mean, I've done Bigfoot howls in camp plenty of times with my animals, with my dogs, and they don't alert. They don't go barking. They don't get disturbed at all. I don't disturb the woods.
Well, they might be used to your voice, the sound of your voice.
I don't disturb the woods either. Like the crickets don't go crazy. Now I do have one very aggressive primate yell that I use to stir up and see if I can, provoke. And I don't do it that often because I really am afraid that one of these days I'm going to do it and they're going to come running out of the friggin' woods and just like close me behind me WWE style, and stomp on me a couple of times and run back into the woods. I mean, it really is aggressive.
Just wear a camera. Take one for the team,
well,
man.
That's my whole thing is I carry knives. Yeah, I carry a fixed blade. I carry a folding blade. He's going to be bleeding. As he's carrying me the hell away, he's going to be bleeding the hell out. So I'm going to hope he bleeds out before he gets me, but y'all will have plenty of DNA to get, to figure out which one's my blood, which one's his. They can do that now. But I do like this one. I don't think this one is fake at all. Now, this one
was taken in Columbiana County in the hills above Wellsville. And
now, there's another one that sounds just like it, and everybody wants to say that this one is real too.
Now, what was that one?
That one is from the 1978 documentary Bigfoot Man or Beast, with the dude with the trench coat, and he's walking out in front of this 6-wheeled amphibian 2-stroke that's blowing smoke out the back of it as it's pulling around him. Hi, I'm so and so, and I'm in the Sierra Nevadas doing an investigation.
That's definitely a well-established sound that I think is probably one of the most familiar sounds in all of Bigfooting.
And that is completely created in a sound house. If you know anything about sound engineering, that is not natural echo. That is not natural depth. It has been completely played with to be as animalistic as it can be sounding. But it is 100%. It even tells you that in the documentary that I cut it from on the screen, Bigfoot howl approximation.
That's what I thought this was too, Joe. That it sounded like the Bell Tower recording, the Patterson old tower. You know what I'm talking. Patterson.
Yeah, every Bigfoot movie from the 70s. Yeah, exactly, Jay.
Well, I think I first heard that howl in like an In Search Of or something like that. But yeah, from the 70s.
Yeah, everybody stole it. Everybody was like, and when camping out, the Bigfoot investigators hear that sound, and then they blah 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 blah. See, now this one sounds far more natural to me.
That's the first recorded Bigfoot fart, people. You heard it here first.
That's right. You heard it here. The first recorded Bigfoot fart. I always ask, Bigfoot called or fat girl fart? You make the call. And I know the answer to that. So,
so the 1994 Ohio howl, that was who took that video, the video audio?
It's oops, I'm looking at the wrong one now. And
how was it? And how was it presented?
Virginia. It doesn't say who turned who.
The only one that ever says it's an approximation is the original documentary that it came out of, and that same documentary actually talked about the Sierra sounds, and I believe it had an example of that reel-to-reel recorder that they took up there to the Sierras. But like I said, even if they did 24 hours total of recording in 7 days. You're talking about recording like 3 hours a day for 7 days, you still need 50. You'd need 50 plus reel-to-reel tapes.
Well, that's if they were doing it at the entire time. They might just do it when they were starting to get
Well, that's what I'm
activity.
saying. That's what I'm saying. If they just recorded a total of 24 hours over that 7 days, I'm not talking about 24 hours a day. I'm just talking about starting the recorder whenever they got activity, and they've recorded a total of 24 hours over 7 days. They'd still need 50 tapes and like 19 sets of batteries to keep the damn thing running. D-size battery. Like I said, that's several hundred pounds, or like at least 150 pounds of crap, that you're tugging along. That they used to say we would walk 7.5 miles and bring our donkey train with us.
Yeah, donkeys.
Right. I mean, they talk about needing donkeys to bring their gear in, but they can't tell you how many tapes there actually were. It's like,
Yeah.
how many tapes were there, Ron? Well, I don't know. That was kind of Al's deal. Really? Those are the answers that you get when you ask Ron Moorhead questions, if you get answers at all. And that's one of the reasons I don't get invited to these Bigfoot conferences anywhere, is because they're afraid that I'm going to ask Dr. Meldrum and Ron Moorhead and all those other weirdos actual hard questions in front of everybody, and they can actually come up with an answer. Like Adam Davies, do you really believe that you did battle with 3-foot demon-eyed monsters for 3 days in Dr. Johnson's Soho location? Do you really?
I tried to ask him that publicly and was shut down, basically.
Yeah,
but
I talk about that in my book. Read my book. It's just read my book.
But back to that 94 Ohio sound. So Nikki, did you say that was produced, brought to the public through an anonymous source?
Yes.
Like who first presented it? Was it the BFRO?
Yeah, that had to been Matt.
Okay.
Matt Funny Money, or that.
I wonder why it's an anonymous source. That's usually a red flag.
Well, because Matt Moneymaker would, take anybody's word for anything back then, man. I mean, I could tell y'all horror stories about how the BFR actually got.
Do you think Matt Moneymaker actually made it? Do you think he made those sounds to create?
Not the Ohio sounds. No, I think the Ohio sounds are a natural animal, and the reason I say that, at heart, I'm sitting in the Sierra Nevadas. It's I don't know, probably early September. We'd been out there 3 days, and I go to bed early and lay in my hammock and do nighttime audio listening. So I get like 100 yards away from the campfire, and I get away from everybody. My hammock is usually set up at the wood line, and I just lay there and listen. And I set up my recorder, and then I'll go to sleep. I don't snore. So I'm laying off 100 yards out. Everybody else finally goes to bed 3-4 o'clock in the morning. I get up early all the time for early morning activity, because I found that mostly dusk and dawn are when you get vocals and movement in large mammals, period. I'm not going to say Bigfoot. I'm just going to say large mammals move during those times. So I'm sitting at the campfire by myself, got it all stoked up, getting nice and warm. And you got to realize that we're at 8,000 feet. So, even in September, it's, 41 degrees outside, maybe. So I got the fire going real good, and I hear that exact howl come from the hill directly in the direction that I'm sitting from. It's coming down the hill at me from 3 football fields, 1,000 yards, and I could hear all of that inflection up and down. And then I started counting 1,001, 1,002, 1,000. It started again. And then after it ended, I'd start to count again. 1,001, 1,002, start again. And then the next time I got to 4 1,000s before it started again. So it was not mechanical, and there was no standard cadence to it. So it was individual howls of some sort from some creature, and they sounded just like that. So I go over and I start kicking Justin's tent. Like, dude, you need to get up and hear this, man. Like, seriously, these things are going off down here. It's crazy. But then I looked over, him and his cousin had gotten up before dawn to go deer hunting, and you have to leave off the mountain to be on the legal side of the mountain to hunt. Can you believe on one side of the highway you can hunt, the other side of the highway is a draw? And you can't hunt without a draw permit. It's fucking crazy. The highway divides their hunt. But anyhow, so they had gone over the other side of the hill, so they wouldn't have been able to hear it. they were down in a valley on the other side of the hill hunting deer, and there was nobody else there but me. Everybody else was in a cab over camper, and I'm not going to go banging on that door. They'll think it's a Bigfoot and come out with a shotgun. No thanks. So the only thing I have is a personal experience, but when I hear them, I recognize them, and for sure, there was no doubt that they were those types of howls. Whatever made those howls in Ohio, that made that same type of a creature made them coming from the hill for me. There was a rancher that lives up on the hill halfway between where the sounds were coming from and where I came from. Now, he's one of those people who run cattle in the national forest. So he's there, 4 or 5 months right through the middle of the fall, till he takes his cows out of there. And we were leaving, and I asked him about it. He's like, "Oh yeah, I heard them set off the air siren down there at Bassett. Is that what you're talking about?" Now we got down to Bassett stations, and sure enough, there's an air siren sitting there. But those people live there, so I went back inside, and we always tell them when we're checking out. And I asked them, I was like, "Hey, did the air siren go off at all this weekend?" They're like, "That siren ain't made a peep in 12 years." So,
that's a pretty good experience there.
Yeah, but I have no evidence of it. My recorder was long since turned off after I got up because, chances after daylight of hearing sounds is very rare. I don't think my recorder would have picked it up, honestly, all that enough to do anything with anyhow. But
it sounded more like the one I just played.
Yeah, the Ohio Howl one. It sounded just like that.
That's pretty long. It's a pretty long draw.
You got a lot of whoever that is got a lot of long. A lot of long.
Tristan said that this was recorded by Matt Moneymaker.
By Moneymaker? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which, honestly, I'm kind of, I don't know. When it comes to him presenting evidence, it's like, do I really believe it?
I can tell you a personal story that was told to me by somebody who was close to Matt, and you can choose to believe it or not. The Erickson Project. You remember the Erickson Project in that house in Kentucky where the Bigfoot would come out and they would record him eating pancakes, and they had this little the little dwarf Bigfoot determined. There was like 3 or 4 frames of this thing waddling around out there. Well, Matt Moneymaker had set up the night vision cameras to capture all of that and was directly involved in getting that footage on that property. Somebody that I know in that inner circle told me also that Matt Moneymaker at that location in the trunk of his car had a Bigfoot suit.
Wow.
Now, I don't know whether that's true or not. That's a story that was told to me. I'm prefacing with, I don't know if it's true or not. I'm just saying I heard it once, and I kind of believe the source that it came from. I mean, I don't really have a whole lot of, they don't have a whole lot of reason to lie to me at all. We know that Crittenton, Kentucky whole thing. If you want to talk about the Erickson Project one night, I'd love to come back and we can friggin' nail that one down, because I've got a shit ton of evidence against that one too. Matilda suckering in poor Brenda Nagel. Meldrum was involved in that crap too. I mean, just breathing carpet.
Bunch of people got sucked into that.
Oh, just ridiculous. There was a lot of money change stands there, by the way. A lot of money change stands there.
That would be an interesting show to get into.
So the next one was 2004 Mississippi.
Yes.
Mississippi. I don't think I've heard this one before.
Okay, this one's very hard to hear. Okay, so you really need to have your headphones on, peeps, if you want to hear this. I think it's this one anyway. Okay, Did you
I heard
hear it?
nothing. Yeah,
You heard nothing?
No,
I
it sounded
heard
like
the hum.
the Ohio scream over and over.
Yeah, it
I
did.
couldn't
It
hear it.
sounds a lot like the Ohio one, but more in the distance, even more in the distance.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
one
pretty
was
far.
recorded by the BFRO investigator John Callender. Uh-oh, what did I do?
Bum, bum, bum,
Oh, I hit
bum.
something. Oh, okay. Hold on. This says, when was this? In a forested part of Mississippi in December of 2004 near a large military reserve. And John Callender is an airline pilot from Seattle. So that one had a little bit of information on it.
And it sounded like there's a group of people there. Were they out like camping?
It did.
or-
It sounded like a camping group.
Oh,
to
okay.
me. But
I
you
thought
don't
they were-
even hear
I
them
thought-
till the very end. But there's not much information about this one, and other than that, and see, there I go again, trying to change it. This one also, this is also just a rando I found with no information, saying it was an eastern whoop. That sounds more bird to me.
I know Cornell and Dave, they recorded a really interesting whoop. Sounds like a female.
I'm gonna move on from this one because I don't have any information about it. These ones that are coming up are just interesting, different types of audios that I found. So
Oh, hey, now, okay.
What?
Now, wait, since you just played that one, let me give you an example. Now, this, as I talked about it on the show the other night with Joe with Bigfoot Speaks. The audio that we caught at the Brown residence, and it just happened to come by it here, and it's directly related to the sound you just played. So take a listen to this one, and it may be right along that same idea. Now that was in a cow field that had a bunch of trees in it down below us, and it was a good 200 yards off. Kirk Brandenburg was with us, and he had his recorder out away from the fire, away from the pit, and caught that at like 3 o'clock in the morning. The other thing that we caught while we were there was this monster.
Ooh, that would be eerie to hear in the middle of the night.
Yeah, we were literally laying there in our hammocks, and I sat up in the dead of night, like, what the hell was that? Batdorf looked at me and kind of shrugged his David Batdorf was my co-host and cohort for a long time. He just kind of shrugged his shoulders and went, I don't know. And we sat there because we had Hammock City set up so that we could look out over this cow field. And, we just sat there for like an hour in our hammocks, didn't get out, just sat there and waited for anything. Nothing. Dead friggin' silence. So the next morning, I'm laying in my hammock, and it's like dark still outside, and I feel something looking at me. So I pull my hammock down, and I take a look out there, and there's like 100 pair of eyes staring at me. And I'm like, what the hell? So I take my red flashlight. I have a 5,000 lumen Cree red light, and I illuminated everything, and it was 100 head of cow standing like 20 yards from Hammock City, going down the trail that they said that nobody ever went down. So the FLIR video from the Brown property is a cow going down that trail, but through investigations, I feel confident in saying that those two sounds that were captured during our investigations, and the fact that we found the rock clacks and the actual rocks that were broken, and a lot of other things that added up to primate-like activity, we feel that there's probably Bigfoot there on the reservation. And why wouldn't there be? They literally have like 5 fish runs a year come right through that area of the reservation. So
Wow.
yeah, exactly. But those, as you could tell, I've encountered these sounds, in completely different locations. This, I heard my sounds in the Sierras, both the whoop and the howl.
Right.
And then we were in Lower Washington when we captured that whoop and that howl. I've been in Tennessee and heard the same whoop. I've been in Florida, heard the same howl. I've been in South Carolina and heard them both. I've been in Virginia and heard the whoop. I mean, I've been in a lot of different places and heard these same sounds, and I kind of have a feel for what's live and what's not. And there isn't a whole lot out there that's live.
Uh-huh.
The Eastern.
Well, those definitely sounded super similar.
That's all I have to go on, or captured audio that I have.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting though that the whoop is virtually universal across America. So
yeah,
if there's different tribes, different tribes, different races, or
is that an owl scream? It's not a great horned owl scream. I can tell you that from the hundreds of, if not thousands of hours I've sat listening to them. I've never heard that scream. And the great horned owl is one of the loudest nighttime screamers that we have.
Yeah, I've never heard a whoop in real time. I hope to one day. That'd be nice.
Careful what you wish for, bro, because I've been in my campsite with one 7 to 8 feet away from me behind palm fronds, screaming at me like a really angry primate, shaking palm fronds, that are 3 foot around.
That's what I want.
Yeah, be careful what you wish for.
I'm wanting that type of interaction. So it's probably different versus not really wanting it.
I did too. I thought. I did too. I provoked the shit out of it until I got what I wanted, and then I sat quietly and had my tuna fish. Ask him if I could stay in his forest for the rest of the night and not have to back up and go home. I did. I asked him for permission to be in his forest after that.
Okay, now we've got a New Mexico scream.
New Mexico.
Oops, come on. And to me, it sounds like cat, like
yeah,
like maybe a mountain lion out there, or something.
Yeah, that sounds like kitty cat screams. Maybe a bobcat.
Yeah, something like that to me.
Pardon me a second. I have to let this dog out, or it won't stop barking.
Oh yeah, go ahead. But at the end, I mean, you can hear people who are, of course, recording it, but it still sounds more than a coyote. It sounds cat. Oops, I keep touching it.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It does have that canine sense to it. But even a cougar can sound like a woman being murdered.
Yes.
Which sometimes gets confused for a Bigfoot scream.
Right. In this New Mexico area, though, there are a lot of people with encounters and incidents, especially in the northern half of New Mexico,
where it's not desert. Yeah.
Yeah. Not down by where I'm at, but that those Bigfoot up there are very territorial and aggressive. you hear a lot of incidents with rock throwing and growling up there.
Here's an instance of another one that was made in a studio.
Listen. What? Over to the right.
Oh, that
The
sounds
show
like a lion.
just went up 10 rating points. That's the promo right there.
Yep, that
That
sounded
one
like a
came-
lion.
That one came from the Lost Coast tapes.
Oh,
It's actually a bear reversed.
oh, a bear reversed. Good
Yeah, it's a
Lord.
bear reversed, but it doesn't have that natural sound that the ones that have some believability to them. I ain't gonna say credibility to them, but believability to them. Definitely, you start to get a feeling for what's going on. He's telling me that the dogs are back in.
Oh.
So, the door's open and it's cold. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Come on. Hey.
See, for me, I just text my daughter, take the dog out now.
So there you go. And what was the next one that you had pulled up there?
Okay, the next one is the Bigfoot Scream.
I don't think I've heard of this one.
And I believe this is Michigan. I don't really understand the maps I put up there, but
Anyhow.
that was everywhere. So I put it up. Anyway, here we go. The Bigfoot Scream.
That sounded like a woman.
It did.
That sounds totally like a human.
It kind of
Sounds-
cuts off. You know,
sounds
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
It's because they're trying not to let the giggles be heard on the backside of it, probably.
Oh, true.
They've cut it short because there's some
Oh,
kind of an
dang it.
audio that they don't like.
You're right, Tristan. It does kind of sound like an owl too.
That loud?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they can get loud. I got an owl example on my channel.
Oh, thank you, Theo Bones. Michigan. What did I say? Minnesota?
Michigan. Or I don't know, somewhere up there.
One of them.
So, yeah, it's cold as hell. That's all
One
we
of
need to
them.
know.
So interesting, but no information. I don't have any
yeah.
information. I just thought it was cool.
No, it's yeah, I mean, Bigfoot, they got to make sounds somehow, and we just got to be lucky enough to be in the exact place when they do it with a good recorder.
Flat Rock says fox.
Mm.
Yeah, foxes make gray fox maybe. Red fox is way higher than that. They have a really weird squeal.
Oop. I didn't push it that time. It went all by itself.
Coyote, maybe? Could be coyote.
Could be a lot of different things there, huh?
Yeah,
From
well,
a lady to a coyote.
Yeah, if somebody just got this recorded and recorded it and they can't figure it out, they can always go post it in a group and ask, real specialists, biologists and stuff to really figure out what it is versus, going with the assumption it's a Bigfoot. It's a good rule of thumb whenever coming across audio you can't identify.
Well, if you ask Scott Nelson, that was Donde está mis zapatos. Gotta know where your shoes are.
Okay, here's
Tennessee
a Tennessee
Scream.
Scream.
That was weird.
That is high pitch. I mean, that sounds more bird.
You got two different things going on there, two different pitches.
That's why I'm thinking it might be. Tennessee, they the largest mammals they really have are black bear and mountain lion. They've got turkey vultures, owls. There might be some bald eagles out there now. Yeah, you know, that's a weird. I don't know what I would attribute that to, but it doesn't sound like a Bigfoot scream to me.
Yeah, and I agree with Joe there that it does sound kind of bird-like.
Yeah.
Okay. The next one. Klamath sounds. That's up by you, right? Somewhere. Washington, isn't it?
No, Klamath
Uh,
is
California. That's in California.
California, yeah.
Yeah.
that's where we're going in June.
This clip was in 1993. Oh, shit. Maybe if I can turn it on.
Again, whatever this is has a big set of lungs.
Come
It's
on.
a coyote.
Thing.
Me and Steve with Curious Cryptid experienced that same exact sound early last year. Got it recorded, got it broken down, and it's coyotes. He even had a closer encounter with the audio source than I did because I camped out there, and it was coyotes. A coyote. It was on a full moon night too, by the way.
For this particular one right here.
Yeah.
John Friedis researched this event and located the witnesses and digitized the recording.
Yeah, and if you go on Steve's Curious Cryptid's website, his YouTube channel, there's a link there or he has the video of him breaking down the audio from that night, and he did a really good job with it, and really kind of shows they're very similar.
Yeah, that would scare me.
Yeah, it was.
There is an animal audio database out there. I can't remember exactly the
McCall Library.
Yeah, just Google it. For
the
McCall audio library.
Library.
It comes up. And you really can't compare right live between what you think they might be versus what they It's a way to eliminate things more than well, I guess it would be more to find a natural solution.
But everybody should go check out the Coyote Serenade on Steve's channel because he does a full breakdown of a lot of the audio that night because it lasted for hours upon hours, and it was really cool to lay there and listen to. It was a really cool, fun experience.
It's terrifying as hell when you've gone to sleep early and all the guys at the fire get drunk and decide that they're going to put out the predator collar on the other side of your hammock. And then call in the coyotes, and an entire pack of coyotes literally bump you in the ass as they run underneath your hammock. Terrifying.
Oh my God.
Freaking terrifying. I can tell you that first freaking hand, I know what coyotes sound like up close. You want to talk about a close encounter with coyotes? I would say there was a good 60 of them that ran and bumped their head up against my ass as they all ran underneath my hammock because I was on the choke point. Because I figured if Bigfoot was going to come down that trail, he'd run into me, not expecting me to be there. May carry me off like a Bigfoot burrito, may not. I don't know, but yeah. They thought that was pretty funny.
And I also believe that Thomas Steenberg had a visual encounter of a coyote actually doing these sounds. I believe it was this one.
That is so weird. You said that. Well, this Klamath sound isn't the pulley up screamer, okay? And that's the one you're referring to, the one that Thomas.
The pull up screamer.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's this one.
Okay, yeah, I get them confused sometimes. Yeah,
they do sound super similar, though.
Yeah, well, I know it's just
I've been doing this so long, I can't remember where anything goes.
They blend together. It's like, what screamer was this?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a short one. Sounds like it's underwater. That's creepy.
Yeah.
Something
Oh,
is
dang it.
definitely afoot with that.
So sensitive, this thing. Okay, here's the other one.
You know what the problem with all these howls and
Hold on.
screams are, especially the
I
older
can turn
ones?
it up. There, huh?
You know what the problem with all these howls and screams, especially the older ones like this, are? They sound like they were recorded on a freaking Fisher Price, 1986. my first recorder set. It's nobody's fault because that's the technology that was available. They didn't have real digital recorders at that time. They were probably doing this on some kind of a tape recorder on an open mic.
Exactly.
That's the size of a Tic Tac.
Yeah, this was recorded in 1973. So there you go. It was
so 73. This was done on some kind of a reel-to-reel gig.
They didn't have the push down the two little numbered cassette.
Not that early. No, not that would have been affordable for people like this to get a hold of. I mean, those things were in studios at that point. You know how everything costs $1,000 before it becomes $10.
Yeah.
That's
true.
They were, in the early 70s, we didn't have. I mean, we had cassette technology, but it wasn't industry standard for quite some time.
Hey, I just want to say, hey, what's up, Sean? Good to see you, man.
Sean, where have you been, buddy?
Let's give them something to watch about.
You want the link? Oh, what time is it? He like
does Steve have a show tonight?
I haven't seen any notification for Steve.
No, I don't think I have either.
Just let us go on.
Probably not.
Okay, what was I going to say about this one? This one was recorded 1973 by Marlon Ayers outside of Puyallup, Washington. Witnesses saw Bigfoot at a gravel pit nearby. And in 1974, Joel Hurd mailed the cassette of compiled screams to John Green.
Compiled in 74.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows what it was recorded on, but by 74 they had a some type of conversion going on. Right. Compiled, so that would tell you, and that would be about right. 73, 74 would be about just when that stuff would become affordable. I mean, an original tape deck because I'm into Silverface gear. I've got a 1974 Pioneer SX450 sitting in my living room that plays that runs my stereo. I mean, I run YouTube through it at this point. It's still it's a beautiful machine, and I have a lot of those studio pieces, and they were, the equivalent of $2,500 at that time. 73, 74. And the stuff that wasn't was just junk. I mean, they were just, you couldn't plug a microphone into it, so you got a Tic Tac mic. And have you ever seen the movie Phenomenon?
Yeah.
Where he's trying to teach the guy Portuguese with that little friggin' tape recorder. Yes. That's the kind of stuff that would have been used to do this, and it was probably compiled by holding that thing up to a speaker.
I remember those little black microphones that you used to have to plug in and hold,
Right, and those little diaphragm microphones are what the Sierra sounds were recorded on. That's what I'm saying. They're just junk. They don't do that. And when you can hear the ambient sound disappear, you need better editing. You should have taken the ambient sound from that sound that was in the Bigfoot section and added that to the Ron Moorhead section. That way it all sounded the same. But anyhow, we're past that. Everybody, I want to like the Bigfoot Sierra sounds. Like it all you want to. It's a great story. I'm not saying that Ron Moorhead and those guys didn't hear Bigfoot interaction while they were up there. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is the recordings that they're releasing are bullshit. That's what I'm saying.
It'd be really interesting to learn the actual history of those recordings on
because he continued to go up there years and years, decades.
Who was up there with him?
Yeah.
Was it just Al Berry and him, Oh,
I'm
was
pretty
there
sure
a
it was a small
whole
group.
gang
Yeah.
full
I
of
want
people
to. I
that
want to
have
say.
not
I'm
come
going to say it
forward?
was a third. There was a third dude that was with them, and like I said, it's been so long since I bothered to actually listen to the storyline. Besides just
Yeah.
the horrible sounds that are out there. But the very first time I heard any of that, I was on. We were going to Bigfoot investigate with Kip Morrill. I don't know if you guys know who Kip Morrill is, the firefighter.
Sure do, man. He's a 10-time Bigfoot of the Year award winner.
Which is, I don't even want to discuss that.
It's fun. It's fun.
At all. But I love Kip. Kip is.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Kip for a long time. He was my original co-host.
Oh, wow.
And then
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, like the first 3 episodes, we did like the first 3 episodes, and then fire season kicked in, and he had a fire, and he had to go. So that's how me and David got together. That after that, but yeah, Kip, the very first few episodes. If you go search my channel for, I think there's like episode 2 and episode 3 on my channel. I don't have episode 1 because we did it on a different channel, and I don't have access to it. So it's whatever. It was a horrible fucking show anyhow. Believe me, those first shows were pretty freaking bad. I promise you. You think my show sucks now? You don't want to watch any of that early stuff. Oh, good God. But I was on a Bigfooting trip with him. We were going to meet Rowdy Kelly, and we were going to film with the Finding Bigfoot crew on their Humboldt County episode. And we listened to the whole story of the Sierra Sounds. He had the CDs. He was so proud of it. He put it in. He's like, this is going to blow your mind. Have you ever heard this? I'm like, no, I don't know nothing about this. What is this crazy shit? And like the very first instance of it, I was just like, I looked at him. I'm like, you're shitting me, right? This is a joke. He's like, you don't believe this? I'm like, Kip. You're seriously clowning me right now, right? Like you're not on board with this as being real. And he's just looking at me dumbfounded that I don't buy into the greatest Bigfoot sounds ever. So instantaneously I was against them just simply because of the content was insane. And that was not even on record. Back in the day, if you had them on record, you could probably like miss a lot of these edits. You could miss a lot of the stuff that's missing because of record players weren't the greatest, and most people were listening to them on.
Yeah.
Anyhow, the Apollo Screamer, I don't know what sounds like some kind of a loud ass bird to me.
I think it sounds a lot like the Klamath sounds. It's just really bad audio, real far away.
I think it's likely coyote.
Yeah.
Like most Bigfoot videos are taken on my Fisher Price first camera. Somebody took out the little
a couple of times to get it to go.
Somebody took out the little plastic phone with that you drag behind that rings, and they use that as their microphone to record.
Because isn't the Snohomish Screamer very similar to the Puyallup Screamer?
You know what? I was gonna get that one too, but I think the one I found was really bad, real low. You couldn't hear it, so I didn't put it on there.
I live in Snohomish County.
Now they're all locked into each other.
Bill Poling lives in Snohomish, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Snohomish or King, up in this area. Yeah, we get a lot of Bigfooters up in this area. It's crazy.
I've known Phil for quite a few years. We're not the best of friends, but I'd say we're friendly.
This last one I brought up, it has nothing to do with the screamers. It was because I was looking for that audio of remember that couple that got broken down on the side of the road with the dogs in their boat?
The Farmer
That's what
Mills.
This last one is. So did I hold on? I have to break
Carter Farm. No, not Carter Farm.
Because it's
Miller. No.
It is not from my favorite person either. Ugh, can't believe.
Hey, buddy, Thinker Thunker. Come buy my merchandise.
Hey, you're not allowed to say that on my show.
We're gonna get banned.
Thinker Thunker's the best breakdown artist ever. What?
Oh my God!
That's right. You heard me say
it. I just wanted this video really bad.
The dog's right over there. Whatever it is over there. There's a bunch of them. They're talking. They're just communicating.
I think Lester sent me this one, but Donald was sending me stuff too last night. And the stuff you sent me,
Yeah,
Donald,
there's
was
one back there too, like earlier.
just
Yeah, that's not a
was
dog bark.
too. You
You
couldn't
can
hear
hear
it
the
real
dog
well.
barking amongst these howls.
I'm sitting in a cab.
No, it
I'm with
sounds
that
like
lady.
it sounds like it's
Shut
the
up. I would
dogs.
seen it too.
Well, I think later on analysis showed that it was probably hounds.
Yeah.
A lot of hounds.
hearing
What it
well.
sounds like they're probably out either coon hunting or cougar hunting.
JC, you want to go to the cab with me?
Like, yeah.
You use
Can
dogs
scare
like that
mama?
on that's definitely a hound. Probably
Let me go to
walkers.
3.
Walkers
20.
are not like bassets. They don't have a real deep what they call a bay. A walker hound has a much higher bay.
And do they do hunting in the middle of the night?
Oh yeah, especially when you're out hunting coon.
Okay.
You know,
Okay,
I don't
2,
hunt
3
them,
o'clock,
so.
3 o'clock in the
Oh,
morning is the
shit.
best time to go hunt raccoon because that's when they're out and moving about. Your dogs pick up the
3.
scent, drive them up the tree, and then you shoot shit out of them.
Yeah.
Take
Well,
a nice
I feed them cat food in the backyard. I have a good relationship with my raccoons.
Well, they try that.
So there you go.
Yeah, I still say that's some kind of a dog pack.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can legally hunt. You can legally hunt.
911 reporting.
Uh-oh.
I got a screen.
Sorry. I just love that 911 call. I put it on there.
Careful, if you monetize your videos, don't play it because if somebody actually owns the copyright to it, and it'll.
I don't think they can. It's public record.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just telling you, within YouTube's algorithm, it'll come up as somebody's claimed it, and it'll.
Oh no, I don't have enough subscribers to be given.
Well, okay, then play the shit out of it because that's what I do now. Now that I'm not monetized, I pirate the shit out of everything. I don't care. Sue me. I ain't got no money.
I
Get in
need
line.
more subscribers so I can worry about that shit, people.
And I think this 911, wasn't this in Puyallup as well, if I remember correctly? Gosh, where was this? It was somewhere. I know it's in. Man, I can't remember what town this was in. If it was also in Puyallup as well.
The 911?
Yeah. Forgot what town.
Let me see. Pacific Northwest. The incident happened on Kitsap Peninsula, Washington State in 1990.
Okay.
So that would be one of the cockle eaters.
Do you guys want to hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going on out here. Something just killed my dog. Something killed your dog.
That's the first.
My dog went flying through the air over the
he
tree. I
called
don't know how it
911,
did it.
and then the second one starts right after.
Okay. Damn it, I'm 911. What are you reporting? I got a strain going on out here. Something just killed my dog. Something killed your dog? My dog went flying through the air over the tree. I don't know how it did. Okay. Damn it, I'm really confused. All I saw was my dog coming over the fence, and he was dead when she hit the ground. I didn't see any cars. All I saw was my dog coming over the fence.
911, what are you reporting?
We got someone or something crawling around out here.
Did you see what it was? Was it a person or an animal or?
I can't tell. All I know is that my central light came on, and I just happened to glimpse and see this thing running across the yard. A good-sized man or something. It looks like a man. I don't know what it was. Just that it ran across the yard.
Okay. You've had problems in the neighborhood before?
Yeah, my dog was killed here just recently. I don't know what it was. Whatever it is, it's running. I couldn't catch it if I was going to chase it. But whatever it was standing up. I'm out here looking through the window now, and I don't see anything. I don't want to go outside. Jesus Christ, you better get
Sure.
up.
Hello?
Get somebody out here.
What's going on now, sir?
That son of a bitch is about 6'9". I don't know.
Do you see him now, sir?
Yes, I'm looking right at him.
Uh-oh. Okay, hang on.
He's right.
Is he in your yard, sir?
Yeah, God, he's big.
Okay, what's he doing in your yard?
He's looking at me.
Oh, and the guy is on foot.
I love that. He's
I don't
looking
know
at me.
It's a big, real big person. That's all I can say.
Okay, but it is a person.
Yeah, I'd say it was a person, somebody really big. But he's all in black.
Is he a black male or a white male? Did you actually see whether, or was he just wearing black?
He's all black and he's big.
Anyway.
And I believe that was legitimized as an actual 911 source call. It wasn't something that someone just made up.
And the dude sounds concerned. I
Yeah,
mean,
he
he
does.
sounds genuinely concerned. Now, me, there would be a whole lot of bang, bang, banging going on. You know, I mean, there would be a lot of wailing from something running away bleeding. Because at that point, I'm going to pull the trigger that close. You know, yeah, I'm going to do it. In that situation, in my backyard, yeah, you know, that thing gets some holes knocked in it. So I got some DNA. Might not kill it, but but yeah, at least it's not the guy from North Carolina with the stick. Get away from here. Get away from. He has such beautiful blonde hair. You remember that guy? He was on the he was on a
Who
news.
was that?
It was on a news. It was on a news report about a Bigfoot sighting in like North Carolina. The guy said he had such beautiful long blonde hair.
Well, you know, a
and I
lot of
put my
people
stick
try
at him and I
to
said,
discredit
"Get on
him,
out of here! Go on now, get."
saying that this guy was a drunkard and you know that he was just an unreliable source and that he had a lot of calls into the police before for nefarious things, whatever. But I don't know. It sounds
He
He didn't
legit
sound
to
drunk to
me.
me.
Yeah, he
I
did
mean,
not sound drunk to me
I've
either.
dealt with a lot of drunks. I was in security a long time. I know, you know, how to evaluate, you know, inebriated people pretty quickly. His speech wasn't slurring. He had, you know, genuine inflection and concern in his voice. I mean, I'd have listened to him if I was a cop.
How many times did he call 911? Does it show like a record of
Well,
like his
there's
behavior?
two on that specific one. I had two on there. The one where he called about his dog getting killed because he saw his dog fly over the fence, but the dog was already dead. And then the second one where he actually sees the figure in his yard.
Oh, I thought you said that he called 911 multiple times before this event
Well,
happening.
that's what they say. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
what I heard from other podcasts and stuff who have brought this up because I've seen this in several different places.
Mhm.
But who's sending me messages now?
Yeah, I've always really liked that one. You know, it's he sounds credible. It's not one place you definitely don't want to hoax anything. I mean, you get in serious
Well,
trouble.
it's like the boy that crawled wolf, you know. I mean, number one, why they let that little bastard go out there and guard the sheep anymore, I don't understand. But you know, you only get away with so many bad calls to 911 before they start to try to prosecute you. You know, you only get to call the cops out there for nothing, you know, a couple of times before they say, "Hey, you call 911 bogusly again, and we're gonna put you in cuffs, take you away." So don't do that. That's how they stop that stuff. So, you know, whatever. I don't know how many times a dude calls 911 about shit running around in his backyard, but if he's got shit running around in his backyard, he needs to call somebody. You know,
Yeah,
we're police
Dude, I
officers.
would.
We're not trained to take care of this kind of violence.
Yeah, because he did kind of sound like an older gentleman too.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't know. It's one of the more credible Bigfoot potential evidence, in my opinion.
Yeah,
does
I
to
mean,
me
he wanted
too.
somebody to come out. Maybe he just is lonely. Maybe he just needed somebody to talk to. But I think you could have invented something other than a big black dude.
Oh,
person.
Jerry Klein. That's who it was.
Oh, the Jerry Klein. He the trailer attack incident. He's done with Bigfooting, by the way. He moved on to racing.
Oh.
So all his evidence and all that is now gone. So
I'd like to say hi to Brian and Chewy. Thanks for coming in. And I noticed Sasquatch out of the shadows. Alex is here.
Hey, what's up, man?
Welcome. Are you back home? You were out and about and stuff, weren't you? Barb Santee came in. And of course, Curious Cryptid came in. Northman's Keep. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. And Sean, man, you got to start doing your shows again, buddy. We all miss you. We talk about you. Do your ears ring? Because we're always on Lockbeard shows saying, "Where's Sean? Where's Sean?" We miss
Yeah,
you.
for real, man.
So
It's like we need
Sean has
something to
come
fill our
back.
Wednesdays with.
Sasquatch Wizard, thanks for being here. And Just appreciate y'all. So I got something I'm working on and I wanted to tell everybody about it. Is remember how we were tossing around the idea of doing a bingo here on the show? So what I'm going to do, because of the issue of trying to get bingo cards out to people, what I'm going to do is that on my shows, you know how every now and then I'll have a trivia. I'm going to start having a trivia question or our crossword puzzles and stuff that we do. I'm going to win. You're going to win a bingo card. So once I have got 10 individual bingo cards already made up, and once those are all out, we will have a bingo a show where I'm going to be giving you we'll do the bingo, and out of those 10 people who win, I'm going to get you, a little surprise. So
I like that.
That's how we're going to do that, and it'll be a lot easier since I made it all up already. It's just the logistics of I can't get 50 people cards and all that, That's too much.
What you could do, and since you can post PDF files to your Facebook page, you could put up. You could, if you can generate them and not have to print them, then you'd be able to message them individually their own bingo card.
Yes, I do already have, but the issue is that I can keep generate. Okay, I either have to pay and I can have unlimited cards, or I took
just looked
snapshots of
I have
10.
open source. I found some open source code that you can use for free. We'll get together.
Oh, okay.
I'll help you out with that.
And so I'm something I'm playing around with. I can definitely do it where I can send individuals their card through Facebook Messenger. We can do it that's how I want to.
Yeah,
but
that's exactly how this software will work. That way you just print that card to a PDF and it'll just give you individual PDF files for each card, and it'll generate a new card for you.
But my issue is I didn't want to do it 50 times because I'm lazy.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm only giving out to 10 people who are the lucky winners of whatever I have going. It'll also make you come back to my show every week to try to win one.
That's right.
Wasn't Brandy like owning everybody last time?
Yeah, she really
She,
did.
like,
And I
owned
sent
it.
her out her gift. I
Well
haven't
done,
seen her
Brandy.
here today. She probably got it sometime right now sometime. I think she's in New York or New Jersey. So she
Oh wow.
I know with all the weather and stuff, a lot of stuff got delayed. So
I think there's like a big storm or something going on over on the
Right.
East Coast. About time the East Coasters get it, man. Us West Coasters, man, we've been dealing with that crap for like the last 2 months.
You
So
can
anyway-
host a bingo game for up to 1,000 players. So you'd be able to put out a link, and they would be able to click on the link and
click on the link and do it that way. I can try that too.
We can try that too. So I'll take an eyeball at that. We'll see what you get set up for.
It sounds like a lot of
Everybody
fun
seems
though.
interested. We have fun with my crossword puzzles, so we'll see how we do that. But hey, once again, I want to thank everybody for coming here. If you like the show, give me a like, give me a share to your groups. That's how I make my subs. And I want to thank Reverend Captain Two Gun Kelly Squire for coming into the show.
It's quite the title you gave yourself there, buddy.
Squire.
Hey, no. Technically, I am an ordained reverend. I have had my
Me
commercial.
too. Me too.
I have had my commercial riverboats captain's license several times within my life, so I'm legally a captain. Two Gun was not a name given to myself; it was given to me by somebody else. And Esquire, you just add that to your name to be a douche.
Hey, it's all one's Esquire. Here we are.
That's it. I mean,
It all works out for you.
hey, the Reverend Captain Two Gun Kelly Esquire. You don't remember?
It works,
that.
man. I love it. It's
Yeah,
a tongue
they-
twister, but I like it.
I've earned every bit of that name, son.
Oh man.
Thank you
I
guys
believe
for
it.
having me. Wednesday nights, 8 p.m., the Squatchers Lounge podcast. Don't forget that. And next Thursday, I'll be on with Jay and Bigfoot and Barbecue and Camp.
Nice.
Cookbook.
People? Yeah, exactly. I'll be
Yeah,
on
we
next
choose
Thursday.
these really long names and then nobody can remember.
Well, that's like
them.
my buddy Doug's FX company is Clone FX, only it's KLONFX, KLONEFX.com. Like, you really didn't think about like audio, like people talking about your stuff, right? I mean, I got to spell it out every time I want to send people to your website. That's KLONEFX.com, CloneFX.com.
I think
That's
Cole's
Hudson.
called
He's the
me
one that
Harry
did that big
Hoodwinks one
patty,
time.
the big patty replica bust. He's the guy behind that, and he's really talented. He's got the realistic Bigfoot suit you can rent for your movies. Yeah, which nobody's really done, and they have really shitty fucking Bigfoot costumes in their movies. So maybe they need to get on board, because he'll actually make custom faces and custom hands and stuff for movies. That's what he does.
I was actually watching a movie last night on Tubi called Bigfoot versus Man. I think it's the new David Ford movie, and I think he actually just didn't even use a costume. It looks like he just used like a carving or something of the Bigfoot's face. It's like, geez, not even trying.
Now we're just gonna have like the Bigfoot cutouts like put on it, and they'll move the camera by.
Might as well
the camera around the cutout, because screw it. We don't
Oh, and if you guys are wondering, on Tubi, you have Bigfoot versus Megalodon on there now. So I think we should all watch it and discuss it later on.
Bigfoot versus Megalodon. Oh my god, I don't know what Tubi is, but I'll figure it out.
It's a streaming app. It's a free streaming app. You can get it on your phone, get it anywhere. We should all watch it though, because I don't know, man. I saw it on there. I'm like, ooh, looks good.
Might be something I
Maybe
have to
not.
get together with Bigfoot Entertainment Monthly. Anyhow, thanks guys.
Thank you guys. See you next
guys.
week.
Peace.